Um, all right. So this was week 6 already, which is kind of crazy. And just to kind of, isn't that crazy? I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, we only have 2 weeks left. Man, this has actually gone really fast, I think. So maybe not for everybody else. Yeah. All right.
It has.
I think it did too. So just real quick here, reviewing that our whole focus of the training is looking at developing directors. But I think that there's so much more beyond that. It really is just trying to learn too. It's how we're reaching out to people and developing the ability to ask better questions and thinking about how we can learn things in more detail to help us be able to share them differently, like the dream plan. And, we're talking about the vision board and the whole importance of building depth. So that has been I think every week it's repetitive. Sarah made it home. Woohoo! We did got another one on. Yay! Yeah. But the building depth thing, and just to kind of help continue to develop that understanding of that. And you know what? A lot of this, I think, for each one of us, I'm sure it can be different how we feel about this, but a lot of it doesn't make sense necessarily until you start doing more of it. So just a reminder that some of these things you might be thinking, this really isn't doing me any good, but I promise as you are growing and you're truly looking at doing more with this, of how you're going to see how all of these things come back to you, and it really starts to make this whole vision of what you're trying to do that much more realistic. So, just again, reminders of why we're doing this here. So, all right, guys, well, let's go ahead and have you guys go ahead and share. Was there something in particular you guys learned this week, or any questions that brought up from some of the topics?
The biggest thing I took from it is just, let me see. It was all about just asking the right question. Asking the right questions. But his big question was, can I ask you a question? And making it a gentle question. And basically saying, you know what, where are you at? From what you know about Shaklee, where are you at? And I'm asking because I'm looking at building this. And so basically just finding out where, may I ask you a question? Yeah, I wrote that down. With what you're doing in Shaklee right now, where does it look, where could this go for you? But basically just getting comfortable asking that question. And he said too, that I liked, was instead of asking about, the products and how are you liking the product and how do you feel and what are you interested in trying? Have you thought about this next? He said, you have to do more thinking of where they are at versus presenting the product, which I don't do. I guess what I don't like about this training is, granted it's business training, and that's what I keep telling myself, but I feel like he's just so anti-product.
Mm-hmm.
And I struggle with that because I do want to know what people like and how they're doing. And we're both new to this. So it's like, I do want to know what you want to try next. And he makes it sound so simple to bring up the business when I feel like I'm just at such a fresh place that it's just not going to come natural. But I did like that, like just really figuring out where they're at, like what they're thinking versus presenting. Like you don't have to present Shaklee, you don't have to present the product, just find out where they're at. So it's just a different shift for me, like a big thought process shift.
Yeah, and I think, Sarah, you just pretty much hit it on the head, though, that this is not really designed to be for somebody new. And when he initially talked about the process of asking questions to figure out who would be good for this training, it is people that have been in this a little while and they've had time to really already have been talking to people and kind of developing some of this. So I think that that's good that it's getting you to process, though. Product stuff is, yes, to me, that's the number one importance. But he is focusing on the business. So you're right. It's kind of like they do go together. So if we can get better at both sides of the skills of developing those questions to work them together, I think that's what we want to take from this more myself, because I'm the same as you. And I love to talk about products. And that's how I get everybody started, to be honest with you. But his focus is business. And, it's not to say one is wrong and one is right, but it's good to acknowledge that there's two ways to do this too. So.
Well, I do like how he just always granted he's experienced, but he's like, he kept saying gentle question. He's like, it's just a question of like, hey, you love the products, you're using them with what you know about it. What do you think about this? And I'm just asking because I'm looking for people to really take this thing and make it big. And he just makes it sound so simple.
Right. I know. But the more you practice though, I think part of that is too, getting down your kind of your wording to know how to say these things. Cause right, he makes it sound so easy, but you know how many times he's probably done this now, and that really makes a big difference. So that's why it's someone good to learn from, and it will get easier. But I think that we can also sometimes over talk things that hearing him, I mean, he only uses a few words when he asks a question. Me, I would probably go on for about 5 minutes before I got out that question.
No problem.
Me too. So it's good that we're just being more conscious though, as when we come into conversations, can we let the other person lead it more? And we think of the right things to help getting them to the place of where we can then share what we're hoping to share with them. That's, I think, kind of the draw it out.
Well, that's what I kind of felt like on this one today. This week, it was kind of painful when he was talking to, I guess it's a director, or whatever. And Mike actually was listening to it too. When we were listening, he goes, "Oh my gosh, like I want to answer for the poor guy or something." And I said, "I know, but I think that's part of it is Roland has gotten to the point where it's almost so uncomfortable that the other person has to fill in. Like that's what I've noticed when he's talked to that Emily and when he talked to the person today. It's like his questions are so slow and he really could care less how long he waits for your answer, that the other person's almost like, okay, well this is, and they kind of keep on going. I thought, no wonder they spill their beans, because it's almost awkward. You're filling the silence because he just doesn't care.
He doesn't, and you notice the pause. Like there's always this delay. Like I think the other person is forced to talk because there's this big
Yeah, like he's not going to answer. Where I'd be like, are you still there? I don't know. What are you thinking? And he just doesn't care. Like he sits back and just totally waits. And I like today, like hearing the video that he actually did this time. It was kind of neat to see the role playing again, kind of like that first week when he actually showed you the thing with, I think it was at Emily or whatever, to hear what he was asking. And then today with the person, like, oh, okay, you actually, instead of just talking about it, you actually saw what he was doing. But like Sarah said too, it's kind of, you listen to it and go, yes, oh my gosh, I don't want to be just a salesperson per se. I want to focus on building depth, but I am nowhere at that point right now. So it's stuff where you have to, like, I just keep saving these things into a folder because I'm like, I'm going to have to pull this back out someday when I'm able to have this kind of conversation. Because right now I'm not.
Right. And I think that's very true.
And also, like, you have like your Kristen Cunningham, I think it is, who's so focused on Facebook and social media. And then you listen to him thinking, well, you're trying to build in depth, not just sell the product. And I'm thinking Facebook is the farthest thing from this guy's mind because it's all interaction.
Right.
That you don't have on Facebook.
There's this leadership group that I work with periodically. And one of the topics has been a lot lately is developing more of a strategy for how you get people started. And you've got people like Tara that's 100% like for this YFP, which is your Freedom Project, that you basically pay and they create a website for you. And then you can funnel people to this website to do trainings that are just generic, they're all pre-recorded type things. And then you've got other people on there that have been doing this a while and they're saying, well, social media is the way to go. Like you need to be doing like Kristen Cunningham's telling you. And then you've got other people that are like, well, no, my whole business is built around relationships and I do one-on-one appointments with every person. I don't even do events. I do one-on-ones. And it's like, I think we have to grasp for ourselves though, where's our best strategy? Because it really is different for every single one of us. And I don't think any of us can say what Stacy does is going to work for me. What I'm doing works for Sarah. What Sarah's doing works for both of us. It's really finding your niche and then helping to develop your strengths so that you can keep going out there in different ways. So like you're saying, Stacey, you might not have these people yet to have these conversations, but when you do, you're going to remember some of this and knowing how you heard Roland ask those questions. And I said, he always reminds me of, not Eeyore. Who's the really slow guy in Winnie the Pooh? Is it Eeyore?
Eeyore. I think it is Eeyore. Yeah.
He reminds me of. He's just slow. He talks, pauses, nothing. But that's great because I'm so opposite and I talk too fast and nobody can understand me. So like, it's kind of like this. Every time we're doing these trainings, guys, though, I hope you're finding value in a different way and not thinking it's a waste of time because it's helping our growth in one way or another. And I think that as we keep each week seeing some of it being repetitive, it does help to sink in more versus if it was a different skill every single time, I don't think you'd remember as much. So it's, good that how many times now has he led off with the first question, may I ask you a question? Every week he said that in one way or another. So it's like, yeah, it's a pretty simple thing to do. And I still forget when I'm talking to people, but it's going to come back to me one of these times. I'm going to say, I'm so proud of myself when I remember to say that.
I just think it's kind of comical. Like I find myself cringing when he's like, come on, everybody jump in. And they're just the same people that jump in. I'm like, I don't know. Some of them are so cringy. Like I'm going, thank goodness they're not my upline.
You guys will find a lot of the old school people, though. That is all how they are. And you know what? They love these 2-hour long calls, and they're all about this. I mean, it is so boring, guys. I can't even tell you. And I think we just come from different places, but some people like that. So, yeah, I totally agree. I'm like, man, if I had to work, that's probably why I don't choose to work with our upline because I hate to say it, but yeah, you guys would experience that sometimes if I'm just like, I'm going to fall asleep. Even the part of the MC Mentors training that this came from, when I had to listen to these, they wanted your camera on, but all of them went between an hour and 20 minutes. And you just had to sit there and listen to people. And it was just, I tune out. Like if I don't have a screen or something to look at, like I am so like writing notes on other things. I'm like looking at my phone and I'm like, focus. But that's all different learning styles, and I think that that's just important that we kind of, get that, all right, what do we need to focus on more? And I'm not saying any of those are bad because it's all good. It's just a matter of staying engaged that can be hard for me on calls, especially. So,
well, and I will say, I mean, I'll be honest, this training is brutally painful for me.
Good, Sarah. Good.
but I'm the type person that I look at your screen and I would rather have a training, titled asking questions. Always start with, may I ask you a question? Give me an example, move on, boom, bullet point, set up a 3-way call. And it is just like, wow, this is 55 minutes. Okay. It's just like, you encounter different people in life who have different, it's just what your thing is. Mm-hmm. And I keep listening to it like, this is so painful, like get to the point of week 6. But then like Stacey said, to hear him, because I do agree though, those pauses, I'm like, whew, like I feel awkward listening to it, these poor people. But it's just nice to see a successful person doing it this way when so much of our life is busy and go and social media and text people. So I keep reminding myself of that. But even like today with trying to cram everything in, I'm like, okay, boy, we got to get to the point. What's the topic? Where's my bullet point? Let's move on. But it's good.
As you can tell, Sarah, I'm more like you. Here's my bullet points. And I just said our whole call in like one screen.
Show me an example of it and move on. Like,
right. No, I totally agree.
Good.
You know what's kind of funny too? Just for fun, because I thought I would see if I could possibly get Roland on for one of our Zooms, because I thought, you never know. I can't even find him on Facebook though. That's pretty crazy.
He's not on Facebook probably because it's all personal. There's no Facebook. He wouldn't do anything on Facebook. He can't pause and ask a question. And
I thought every master coordinator though has to be on Facebook. Like nowadays, you would think that's a big part of growing a business is social media. He's not on there. So I was like, I guess I'm not going to pursue reaching out.
That would be an hour-long call.
That was my other thing. I was like, you know what? I struggle half hour. We're pretty good at keeping our time. Yeah, and that's good for me. But all
Well,
right.
I think it's good too because, you know, like I said, Stacy and I are very new and fresh, but you know, I think even if we don't do it his way, when this builds and we have people under us, you might have somebody under you who works this way.
Right.
You know, not everyone is going to be like me and comfortable talking and social meeting. You know, it's nice to be like, hey, remember, you know, this, you know, Sue is kind of like that Roland guy I listened to a couple of years ago.
Right.
Like we really need to hone in on the different personality styles, but.
Totally agree with you. That's a biggest thing I think that we all should realize too is, there's not one style for everyone. And that's where we really do have to, the whole question thing can help to reveal how we should work with them best. And you've got somebody brand new that loves the products and they're doing really well. And, you know, they might want to share with a couple people and you go to them and say, hey, let's do an online party. And they don't even have a computer. You just lost them. You know, they're like, I don't know what that means. So I'm done. Like, whereas if you ask those questions and said, well, how do you generally communicate with people? That's going to get them to say, oh, I really like, I usually call people, or I'm a texter. I like to text. And, I think that's exactly what we have to do more of though, is just learning how these questions can relate to finding those people and their needs to help fill. And I think that there was something I wrote down. I can't remember where it was the other day. I just wrote it down. It was from one of our calls. I found it. If you can find a need and fill it, you will be successful. I think that's our job, guys. For every person, if we can find a way to help them, we will be successful. And that was I don't remember where that was from, but I thought that was a great tip. But guys, these were quick bullet points from our Zoom. Were you laughing at me, Sarah?
I'm chuckling because just last week we were struggling with Colton, and one of the things we were told, like a therapy thing, was for every behavior there's a need, and if you can fill that need, you'll be successful. Parents. And I was like, wait a second, that's what Amanda just said.
I met with your counselor. I'm kidding.
Yeah, let's go see the same person.
That's hilarious. That's a sign, Sarah.
You know, one question I do have, maybe I missed it. I think I may have missed like 5 minutes of his call, but did he address like when people say no? Like I have a feeling he just is like, okay, move on. Like they're not there. Like you ask the question and they're not there, so move on. But did he do anything about not pushing, like what to do with a no? Just move on?
I think that's really what he just says is it's okay with me, whatever you want. I'm just looking for my 3 people. And he's really like, I just keep telling him, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just, looking for it. And I think, like you said, he just moves on. He's not about wasting time.
No.
Well,
yeah, right.
Well, like the lady said today when she was asking questions, and just said, how do you find your people? Do you go out and search for them? Do you have people already in your organization that you have a feel for? Where are you finding your 3 to try to talk to? And, she said right out, she said, I think I want it more for some of my people than what they want it, because I don't let it go. I'm like, I want this for you. I think you can do it. And I just keep going back to them, and they're not in the same place that I think they should be.
That's
And
Jamie.
he's like, move on.
Like, that's Jamie in like the best description ever.
Yeah.
I put so much time into Jamie. So much time. And I never asked this question. I mean, in a different way I did, but I spent so much time, and then now she's done. Like,
it
just wasn't there. And I kept wanting it more for her because she kept saying, I need this, and I want to help her.
Right.
I'm a few, and let's see what we can do. And she just wasn't there.
I know, and it's so frustrating. It's so hard, but you always have to go back to, though, you know what? Her time could come back, though. And I remember that saying a long time ago, love them where they're at in Shackley, because it is so true. You may have a person that use Vitally, the rest of their life, great. They're a great customer for you. You might have a director that comes suddenly and they revert. And you know what? Their life happens, but they may come back. So, it's even just keeping that open with those. So you're still talking to her, and you're still, you never know. It really is like part of this business is you will get people come and go. And I think that Roland is a good example of a network marketer, and how he gets away with just saying that no is no big deal is because I can guarantee you his list of names is many books long. He just, everywhere he goes, I'm sure he's writing down people's names he meets. He might have no idea who they are, except that they served him a hamburger at a restaurant. Like, that's what they do. You know, it's just a number, whereas many of us, we don't have that never-ending list of names. So it is a number game, though, guys. That is anybody that's, you know, in this for the business side of this, that's frustrating for us because a lot of us are not quite in that situation yet, where even somebody had said, again, I don't know if you guys remember this on one of the calls too, but if you made your top list of priorities in your life and Shaklee isn't in your top 4, then it's probably a hobby. And that's also another reason why we are not out there finding names, because this isn't our primary source of income, or this is not the way that we are having to support our kids. But you know what? If he gave, Roland said that, if he, for example, gave you $100 every time you talk to somebody new, you know that you would go out there and find new people to talk to every single day. And I think that's what this is about is, you know, he's trying to say, no is no big deal. Move on to the next person. So, hey, Karen, welcome. I know you can't be, Sarah, she has an eye issue. She can't have her camera on. She can't look at the screen. So don't look at us, Karen. Yeah, hope your party went well. And she had a Christmas party. So, all right, guys. Well, real quick, these were just some of the things I just did a quick summary of. So first question always, may I ask you a question? Get permission. Questions for people that maybe you guys want to reach out to. They've been on Shaklee Products Media for a little while. Again, start out with, and again, this is an example if you're calling someone. May I ask you a question? Do you have any interest in seeing how we earn income in our Shaklee business? Do you remember he gave that, I don't know if you remember, he gave an example with this, but it's a really good way of opening up to saying how we earn income, not how you can, because you're just sharing something of what you're doing versus making you attacking them. It's permission. That's a big thing to remember when we ask people things, ask permission. Another idea was set up a 3-way call with an upline. That could be another step that you could do, you know, after you're trying to figure out what do I do with them now, that there's your next thing. Or here's maybe a question if you have a distributor already that's maybe they've been on Shaklee a while, maybe they're kind of not doing anything, that this would be a good way to deal with them. Ask you a question. With what you see with Shaklee and where you are in Shaklee right now, do you have any interest in growing your business? You know, it gives people that yes or no option, which is, again, what he tries to keep getting us to. Get a yes or no, move on. That's it. And there was another example. May I tell you why I asked? Because I'm working to whatever you guys are working for. You know, I'm working to build to coordinator in the next 12 months, and I really want 3 people that want to do the same with me. You know, that's a great way of keeping it simple, like you were saying, Sari. Keeps it simple. And I think many of us would overtalk this big time if we just ran into somebody and they seemed a little bit excited about Shaklee. What would you say to them? You know, that doesn't usually happen, that somebody right away is super excited and is like, oh, I would love to hear more about the business. But, you know, we kind of want to prep ourselves for what can we say and how can we do it in advance, because you don't know when those situations will come up. So hopefully this is a good reminder. So, hey, Karen, anything you want to mention you learned from the week before I move on here? Or you might still be busy and you can't unmute. I understand.
Hey, Amanda, one thing I did, like kind of my overall takeaway from this, a goal for me is just, you know, asking those gentle questions, bringing up the business, and kind of like planting the seed. Like, I think my approach would maybe just go up to somebody and like bring it up, really not expecting them to be like, oh my gosh, yes, I want to do this and I want to make this amount per month, but just planting that seed so that, you know, 1 month, 6 months, 2 years from now, they're like, hey, remember when she asked me about that? Like,
yes,
you know, I don't think I'm going to go into this and really think I'm going to get a long conversation about the business with anybody at this point. You never know, but just maybe planting that seed and then being like, yeah, you know, she brought up that I could get a little bit more back. Maybe I'll ask her about that. And then I kind of already got it started.
Exactly. That's perfect, Sarah. And I think that that's something that, you know, I probably said this before too, but in all the years I've been doing this, nobody has ever come to me and said, can you tell me how I can earn money with Shaklee? Like, we have got to mention it to them, because that's just the way this works. We have to share, you know, and I think that's always good to not be scared of mentioning it to someone, because sometimes I think we're fearful of that no. Whereas if it's just a question of, hey, would you like to hear how I do this? that's not quite as invasive, and it doesn't make you feel like you're a salesman. So yeah, that's a very good point. And I just, threw together here, guys, a few thoughts, because I just think that, as the weeks keep building and we keep going, there's so many things we can pull from these. But, just some thoughts too, because I don't want anybody to get frustrated either. As you're moving into week 6 and you're thinking, I'm still in the same place I was 6 weeks ago. You probably are, right? Because this isn't something that happens overnight. So, keep in the back of your mind, though, that whatever you are working for, guys, you are in charge of that. And I really lately have just been, kind of assessing as we're coming into the new year, what some of my goals are, what are the things I need to change and work on. And, I want to always be open to input. And I think all of us are here, which is great. You're all coachable, and that's kind of why we're doing this. But, we can't blame anybody else for where our failures are. And that's our job, is to be able to realize what we can do to help fill where are those things that we can this next year really concentrate on. So I want you guys to be serious about making goals for next year. And they can definitely be specific, detailed, long-term, short-term, but set some goals. And I never remember who says these things, but they come back to me that I loved how somebody once said, if your goal is to be a coordinator, does your calendar look like you want to be a coordinator in Shaklee? That was a really good thing, because if you look in your calendar and you're seeing that, and this is not a bad thing, but every day is filled with kids' activities and every day is filled with the next sporting event, but yet you have no time scheduled for Shaklee, how do you plan to meet that next goal if you are not putting your time in to make this work? So look at 2020, guys. How can you fit in some specific Shaklee time to help you get you where you want to be? And again, we all have different goals here, right? But it's just a good thing to think about. So I like that little tip. So Sarah, are you still with us, or did we lose you?
I'm here.
Okay, your camera's gone. So I thought, I hope she's gone. Not gone. Yeah. All right. Just making sure. There she is. Okay, just checking. All right. Any last things, guys, before we talk about kickoff here real fast? We'll end with this. Okay, perfect. So I need you guys' help, because I can't figure out how we should do this. And Sarah and Stacy, you guys were both here last year, so it'd be great to have your guys' input. Here's the schedule. This is what they put out. This is obviously 3 hours behind us, so ours would start at 1:30. And they really start, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. We would start at 1. They start at 12:30, but that's their idea of a recommended, suggested agenda. But it's an hour long. I'm sorry. If you look at your time here, guys, this goes from 10 to 11:30. That's an hour and a half. It's longer than what I thought. So I had a thought of, what if we went and listened from 10 until 10:40 and we cut it off after the promotions, and then we gave us 20 minutes to recap. I don't know yet. You guys have ideas, some suggestions of how we can get people excited, but we would miss then all the live events from around. There's 5 different locations I think they're going to, like what we had last year. Actually, no, I think there may only be 3. Some testimonials. We missed the power of decisions and the call to action and the closing. Any suggestions? Or do you guys like the idea of we wait and start this later and we skip this all together and we just do a recap?
Recap.
I think we need to do a recap. I don't think anybody cares about the dream destination reveal, the top achievers trip destination reveal. They care about what the promotions are. I don't know that I even want to listen to business leader testimonials.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you too. Okay. All right. Karen?
Hey, thanks, letter.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
It doesn't matter to me, because I don't know what to expect. I mean, we're going to watch it anyway. Right. I mean, I'm going to come over anyway and watch it. So
yeah,
I'll get what I need there anyway. So, and yeah, recap, I guess, would be great. Obviously we have to recap it and condense it, but I'm in for the long haul of that day.
All right. That's great. You're good for whatever. Okay.
Yep.
I know. An hour and a half is so long. I just don't. I thought an hour was long, and I was like.
So it's 1 to 2:30?
It is.
Our time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
1 to 2:30. Wait,
are you serving breakfast for lunch? Just
lunch
kidding.
and breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Meal bars.
Right. Yeah.
We said it's 10 to 11:30, but that's another time zone.
Yeah. So it would be 1 to 2:30 here.
okay.
Yeah, because they're 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I really want this to be a fun event, guys. And I feel like this is a great time to get people motivated. And I think we really need to keep the fun as a big factor of this. So I would even just love to have it be more of a, hooray, here's what's being revealed, but also let's work on getting our goal setting. Who wants to join us for Prove It Challenge Group 1? Who wants to do, give some ideas for just tips for the new year and healthy? I think that's what is more attractive to me, but that's just, I get excited more on the interactive stuff versus watching this. So
right. Have you talked to any of the other business leaders on what they're going to do?
No, I haven't. But most people do this, Karen. Most people do watch it live. So,
okay.
But you know what? I also kind of feel like, and not to toot our own horns, guys, but I think we all do a great job of sharing ourselves too. And I think a lot of people choose to watch something like this because they're not confident to share on their own,
Okay.
That's what I have kind of found, but I'm tooting all of our own horns because I think that we all do a good job talking.
I just think that we would lose a bunch of people's interest if they sat and obviously we don't have a ton of people who want to build underneath us.
Right.
Not that we're not looking for those people, but to listen to all of that, I think we're going to lose the excitement over promotions and new products and reveal of stuff. And I think it's going to get lost, and they're going to get bored, and they're going to get overwhelmed, and they're going to think, wow, that was just pushing the business.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Okay. Art agrees, he says. Okay. So I'm just trying to think here. Do you want to do any of this live, or should we just do the whole thing as a recap?
I think you just need to do a Amanda Flair, but just a different kickoff. Like I 100% agree with Stacy. Like people aren't going to care.
I agree.
They aren't coming to listen to this. We want to. I mean, I wish I had 10 people who are interested in the business and would be all hopped up about this, but they're not.
Right.
They want to try the products. They want to learn about the products. We can give a quick glimpse of what's offered, but we are going to lose people, or they're going to be ticked they came.
Right. I do agree. And you know what? We will have the link, so we could also even share out the link out possibly later, that if somebody wants to go back and listen to this live, they could. So, okay. I like that idea too. Hey, Chris, welcome. All right.
Can you record any of that, Amanda? Can we like play a segment if we find something that's interesting on our look at it and say, hey?
Yes, we could, but the problem will be, Karen, that this is on just before we're going to start ours. So I don't know if we'll have time because it's a live link to go back and catch that. I think it will be later that they'll send out the, what do you call that? Like a link to it to rewatch it.
Okay. All right.
So I know, I was thinking of that too, because that'd be great if we could just pull maybe Roger Barnett doing a little, hey, we're excited to kick off the new year, just kind of what he has to share. But okay. So do you guys think that, what time should we pick then? Karen, what time do you have to leave by?
3.
Okay.
Well, Amanda, the only other thing we can do is the 4th is us watching it and seeing what we like, and then we have to do another time, like just to recap it, if you'd think it would be beneficial to play part of it, we would need time, like you said. Gotcha. And then we wouldn't be able to do our kickoff with Shackley on the 4th. It would have to be another time where we're like, hey, this is what we learned.
Yeah.
Here's our kickoff.
Option.
That is a good idea too, Stacey. I actually like that, because we could just have our team and anybody who wants to come watch it live, do that. Right. And then we do a group one. What about Sunday? Would you guys?
I was going to say, what about Sunday afternoon?
Is that the 5th? Like the very next
Yeah.
day?
Mhm.
Yeah. And you would be able to get the link by then, right? So maybe
Yeah.
we could do it, you know, Roger's speech or something, and
Yeah, see what everybody
it's
likes.
like we're going to do our own recap, and it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah. And then we can also offer 2 options for people. They could come here live on Saturday, or they can join us Sunday for the recap.
I just think if we're going to do that, you need to make it clear what they're going to be into on Saturday.
Yeah, actually, I kind of agree, Sarah. I think we should only do our team for Saturday because I think it's too hard
I
to.
think like Judy, Tracy, Andrea coming.
Yeah.
And if people aren't going to come both.
No, I'd rather have people here on Sunday for ours.
I'd rather have them come Sunday.
Okay. How about we do a team one, guys, on Saturday? Whoever wants to come, great. And then Sunday we'll do a recap, and we could each maybe split a section that we do a review for.
I like that idea.
Do it that way. Okay. All right. Perfect. So whoever wants to come here, we can have popcorn, and we'll make it a fun. Bring your bean bags and. Yeah. All right. And then Sunday we'll do a live one. You guys want to say 2:00 on Sunday? Is that a good time for people, you think, or 3? I don't know what time's football. Anybody know? Sorry, Chris, you're probably not really excited about this conversation at all. But I recorded it.
No,
So
it's good.
listen to the whole thing. Guys,
Art's probably more excited about football game. I don't know what's playing on that weekend.
I have no idea.
I don't think we need to worry about that.
No? Okay.
Well, yeah, you know what? If it's anything like a championship game, if we're worried about football, whether it be college football or anything like that, it will be at least college will probably be on a Monday night.
True. You're right. Sunday wouldn't even matter. Okay.
So Sunday won't get in the way of that one.
All right. I always seem to like 2:00, but I don't know if that's too early for you, Sarah. Do you have?
I would prefer 3 just because we usually do a late lunch on Sunday, but.
Okay. 3's fine. I think that's still in the. Okay. You guys like 3?
How long? Like 3 to. Well, how long is this going to be? An hour? 2?
3.
No. Oh.
3 hours?
An hour.
I'm going to talk like Roland and wait for everyone to answer.
May I ask you a question?
May I ask you a question?
Yeah, we'd be there 3 hours.
I don't know. You guys are laughing about that, but I enjoy that slower pace.
We did too, Karen. We said that. We said that. That's funny. All right, 3 to 4. You guys want to do that?
That's good.
Okay. All right, 3 to 4 it is Sunday. Perfect recap. All right. And I will send you guys out the link. Week 7.
So,
2 weeks left, guys. Yeah.
So that event on
Sorry.
Sunday, any way that I could tie into that?
For sure. We can zoom you in.
Okay, because I did sign up myself for the January 4th to listen to it in the comfort of my own home, and maybe get a couple of other people that I know are interested watching it.
Great. Fun. Perfect. Well, and I'll have the link, guys, so if you do have somebody you want to share it with, I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea either. If there's somebody that you invite Sunday that can't make it that you think would like to hear this stuff, I mean,
Chris, did you
share the link.
hear the time on that? So your time is going to be 12 to 1:30.
Yes, yeah. You know
Okay.
what? On Saturday, right?
So yes.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And I already registered myself for it,
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Perfect.
and I'll get a link
Good.
later. Is that how it works, ladies?
Yeah, they'll send it out like a day or probably a week before they'll send it out. So,
Right.
and I'm hoping we're going to have the new protein so we can sample it. That was kind of fun.
Ours is supposed to be shipped here pretty soon.
It is. So I hope that happens. I always just get nervous till I see it. Yeah, so, all right. Okay, guys. Well, anything else you guys want to add? Any questions, comments? You wait. All right, guys. Well, I recorded this. So, Chris, I will share this. So you're welcome to listen to the beginning. And I think that, guys, I think you've all made great progress. So I'm excited for a couple more weeks, and we're starting the new year ready to go. So I do think we might want to start preparing ourselves, though, for what you maybe would like to do after this, because I kind of hate to see everybody just leave and then, you discontinue doing anything. So maybe brainstorm some things of like, you still want to check in every once in a while, you still want to maybe do some type of training or pick one topic a week or something, that maybe we could brainstorm some thoughts on that too, just because I really think there's value to continuing having a focus each week. So, and I said, I think you guys have all come a long way. So, yeah.
So Amanda, quick question. We haven't had a team meeting because of all the extra training and the holidays. Should we tie that in about 10 minutes extra on that Saturday?
That'd be a great idea. We could just do it all there. And you know what, Karen? The other thing I wanted to do actually is a dream board workshop. So maybe we could tie it all in at the same time, and we could be making dream boards and listening to this and make it an interactive, really busy day.
So if there's downtime during the feed, we know what we're going to do.
Yeah, when we're bored. So I've been wanting to do it. We could make it this will be a big event. Chris, you might have to come for this one. Vision, dream board, team meeting, and kickoff all in one.
When?
The 4th.
What time is it starting?
Yeah.
It's all day long.
One here. Yeah, all day long.
What time
Bring your fuzzy slippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be 1 to 2
right.
here.
Also, what are you doing? Just a recap?
No, on Sunday we're going to do a recap of this with just our group. We invite people on Sunday.
That's the one.
3 to 4.
Oh, 3 to 4?
Yeah. Okay. Art's filled in now. We're good.
I heard stuff going on.
All right. Okay, guys. Have a great night.
All right.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
Merry Christmas.
Good
Happy
night.
next week. Hey, next week, Thursday. You guys good again? Do a Thursday night?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is the holiday
I
again?
should be good.
You good?
Mhm.
Yeah. No
Okay.
movies.
Okay. Good.
No promises. That's my 12-hour, so I might have to work till 8:30. But
Okay. We'll tape it if you can't. So, but at least we have a few. I think we better stick with it because it's too hard to pick another night. So, okay. Great, guys. Take care. Thank you.
okay.
Thank
Good
you.
night.